Street Fighter 6 came out in 2023, and with it Capcom brought a lot of changes to the Street Fighter formula. One of the more interesting one is that they brought a multi-tiered level system to the supers. Now characters will have Super Art 1, 2 and 3 during the fights, which is interesting, something that haven't really been done in a while in a Street Fighter game. But after playing the game for a while, we kinda figured out that most of these are very homogeneous. Like most of the level 1 supers will have some strike involved, not every but most of them. None of them have like projectile involved frames that drive damage done to the opponents on the supers are all the same. Level 3 supers will all be about like 10 seconds or so cinematics that will deal like 1.5 drive gauge damage. It was clear really fast that a lot of the uniqueness to the characters were coming in the form of the level 2 supers. That was where most of the sauce will be at, and that's where we got the Rashid's Great Desert Storm. That's when we got stuff like it's level 2 super, that was really cool, all of the dream combos and that stuff. Cammy have aerial super, Kimberly have an aerial supers, we have characters like Chun-Li and DJ that are able to proceed and get combos after the supers. It was really cool, and one of the coolest type of supers were installs, moves like Jamie's and Guile that pretty much turned Guile into like Rainbow Edition. He gets to have 10,000 booms on the screen. And it wasn't really until Capcom brought Thanos into Street Fighter 6 that we started to see them experiment with the concept of utility. What if we made a level 1 super a utility super? And I don't think any of us could have expected what would come next. So here we got Mai over here, and I just wanted to briefly explain what makes Mai install so strong and how Capcom have potentially figured out the fix to this super. Hopefully they implement it, but you never know. So if you don't know, Mai level 1 is an actual attack, right? It is this move which is a 6 frame startup. This is strike involved, so it's a total reversal and it's an anti-air. It's actually really great, but Mai gets a 5 flame stocks, right? Think of something like Blanca Shan, Kimberly Scans, etc. It's pretty much like a meter, specific meter to her. Now one thing I find to be fascinating about this is that this move does 2k damage. That's actually as much as Guile Sonic Hurricane, which also does like 2k damage. So she gets us flat out the damage, supers damage, and she gets an install on top, which that's actually kind of ridiculous. But yeah, so Mai activates this and Mai gets the buff, and this flame stocks pretty much enhances everything she does. Right, her Ryembu, this will now become stronger. You will get like better juggles afterwards, where like you're gonna do the heavy into the medium into like DP, so now you're doing more damage. Her DP now will do more damage, better combos. It's insane. And one of the bigger buffs that it gets is her cartwheel, where this is typically like, it's an alright, that wasn't a manage, it's an alright like anti-projectile super. It's not that insane, but once she activates, oh my god, this actually becomes an insane anti-projectile super, so it enhances everything, right? But probably the biggest buff that Mai got, aside from the level 2 super, is the fact that her fireballs becomes a double hitting real projectile. One of the things about my regular fireball is that it loses to regular projectile. See, if Guile is throwing a sonic boom and I throw a fan, the fan get knocked off. Typically Mai gonna have to go for the charged version, which takes a long time. But with the buff on, this now becomes a legit projectile. And I actually have stick drift. So that's what makes it so annoying. But yeah, this is a 12 frame startup, and if I'm throwing like the heavy version, 45 frame total, which is insane. But we're talking 12 frame startup, double hitting, meterless projectile. So Mai goes from, I was about to say the worst fireball in the game, but then they added Sagat. But she went from having a fireball, the uncharged fireball, which is very mid, to having the best fireball in the game. This is a character that have fantastic walk speed on par with Chun-Li. She got a good drive rush and everything, so she already got like good screen control and normals obviously, and now she have a god tier fireball, which is very powerful admittedly. So all of that makes this install amazing. But there is one elephant in the room, one insane factor. If Guile here activated his install, you will notice that it's on a timer, right? And sure, he gets like crazy value out of this. It can deal like a ton of damage. It's actually like really good. But the thing is, because it's on a timer, Guile is locked from being able to build meter, right? Throughout the entire duration, Guile can't build meter. Mai, on the other hand, unfortunately, like I can use a level 1 super. Now I got the flame stocks, which are on a completely separate and different meter. And say that I do like a basic combo, and I don't know, but something like this, and I already got half of a meter back. A meter that I can already use for like the level 2, I can use for another level 1 so that I get even more specials, etc. Remember when Rashid came out, when JP came out initially, and their level 2 supers were insane Oki tools and they were able to combo after, and even then we had DJ, we have Chun-Li, we have characters with a lot of utilities that can just throw stuff at the screen that are technically supers, and they're getting like rewards, meta rewards afterwards. Well, that's pretty much the case with Mai. You pretty much get the install, you get the enhanced moves, you get the enhanced specials, and bam, you pretty much just get meter as well. What makes this situation extra crazy when you really think about it is that this is the season where meter build is at an all-time high. It's very common to see characters have level 3 supers on round 1. This happens a lot with this pack. But then later Capcom started experimenting with the concept even more, and they gave Viper something that is pretty similar. Viper also have a level 1 that happened to be an install, where now all of her like crazy super cancels, all of the super jump cancels, they no longer cause Viper a drive gauge. So if I'm typically doing like these combos with Viper, this is gonna be like around 2 bars, but as you saw after the install, she pretty much does this for free, right? And Viper also will deal 2k damage on her level 1, right? This still does 2k, which is actually insane. I'm very shocked that Capcom is keeping it that way, but yeah, she got the 2k. But the biggest difference between Viper and Mai is that Viper doesn't really get new abilities. Like everything Viper does during her level 1 install, she can already do. Like that combo I can already do without the install. It pretty much just enhances it, and it pretty much just enhances the cost of it, right? But the biggest difference between Viper and Mai is that Viper's install is on a timer, which means that if Viper is doing all of these crazy combos, all of these like bam, 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 jump cancel combos, and just going for like the enhanced specials, all of that, Viper is not building any meter. Viper builds squat, which makes a lot of difference, because it means that if say the Mai knock you down, man, I'm having like the worst when it comes to controller issues. But say that I'm gonna knock her down and I'm gonna go for Oki, right? She went for a reversal here, right? Which is still very powerful. It's gonna be hard for Viper to push the issue, right? Because she got plus 21, but we're full screen, so she's not really gonna get Oki, right? And she doesn't have a good drive rush. And the timer means that Viper needs to have agency. She needs to push in, which might put her at risk. This is where I call Viper level 1 a buff. It's a buff, it's a nerf, because on the one hand, yes, I mean, she is doing a lot of her super jump cancels, it's not costing her any meter, but at the same time, she gets locked from building the super gauge, right? Where now she's not even gaining meter for getting hit. Like, take a look at how much damage, how much meter she built where she was getting comboed. But now if I did like the same combo, man, wasting all of your super. Now she's not getting anything. She got hit all of that and she's still at 0 bars. And that is a huge difference. So while I get the idea that Capcom wanna go for with Mai and they wanna have it on a stock system, I think what they could have done, which is very simple, make it so that the stock version of these moves, they don't build my any gauge, or as long as this above is in play, my is not building any meter. Easy, fixed. Obviously, she's still gonna be insane, she's still gonna be like a tremendously powerful character, but I do think this would be like a big fix to my current design. I think one of the main issues with my current design is that she's extremely overtuned. I say a lot, she's the most Street Fighter 6 character in this game, but I would like to see that level 1 come at a cost. When we talk about level 2s like Guile, Jamies, etc. that are all super powerful, they're not attacks, right? You typically use them early in a combo or late in a combo, but they're not attacks. They don't deal drive damage. They're not invincible on startup. They don't have utility beside being installs, and even then they lock these guys from being able to gain meter. While Mai gets the reversal, she gets the damage, which is pretty good, she gets the stocks, and she gets to build meter, which is actually kind of insane. Anyways, what are your thoughts on this video? What are your thoughts on the Mai level 1 buff in general? Is it something that Capcom needs to look at? Because I personally think the meter gain, especially in this season, where meter gain is very high, is something that needs to be looked at. I would love to hear your thoughts all about it in the comment section below. I will be leaving a link to the Patreon, Discord, Twitter, and Twitch pages in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and stay safe.